Hello to all our beloved senior friends, and welcome back to Bincang Sehat Lansia, the channel where we share stories, experiences, and knowledge to help you enjoy your golden years with health, joy, and meaning. As always, don't forget to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you won't miss our weekly health discussions. We also look forward to reading your comments, questions, and stories below. Health is holistic, not only about the body, but also the mind, emotions, and social well-being. I am Dr. Amira Irianti, Sp.KJ, a psychiatrist and sexual health consultant, and I will be your companion in today's discussion. Today is special because we have a brave and open guest, Mrs. Tina, 55 years old. She came to share a personal concern she has kept inside for years, something often considered taboo, even though it is deeply connected to quality of life, especially for senior women. "Welcome, Mrs. Tina," I said. "Thank you, doctor. I'm happy to be here." Mrs. Tina introduced herself. "My name is Tina. I'm 55. I've lived alone for 7 years since my husband passed away. At first, it was hard, but slowly I learned to accept it and rebuild my life." I nodded gently. "That is not an easy process, but you look very strong." She forced a small smile. "I have to be strong, doctor. Otherwise, life becomes even harder." She told me about her daily routine, going to the market, managing the house, joining group activities, and spending her evenings watching TV or videos on her phone until she falls asleep. Everything sounded normal, but behind those routines, she felt an emptiness she couldn't describe. "It feels like something is missing," she said softly. "Not just loneliness, a different kind of longing." She explained that she still felt healthy and energetic, and what surprised her the most was that her feminine desire, which she thought had disappeared, was still there, sometimes strongly. I responded gently, "What you're feeling is completely normal. Many people think sexual desire only belongs to young people, but as long as our body and mind are healthy, desire can stay with us, even in later years." Mrs. Tina looked relieved, but then lowered her gaze. In a quiet voice, she continued, "Because I feel it's impossible for me to have a partner again, and I feel ashamed if I try to find one, I ended up buying a female sex toy. I ordered it secretly online. I was terrified my children or neighbors would find out." I assured her, "You're not alone. Many women, married, widowed, or single, use sex toys to understand their bodies or fulfill natural needs." Then she voiced her biggest fear. "Is it safe, doctor? I'm afraid it might cause infections or health problems." I explained that sex toys for women are safe as long as they meet 3 main conditions: safe, high-quality materials, proper hygiene, and correct usage. I began with the material. Think of choosing a cooking pan. You'd never choose one that releases toxins, right? The same applies to anything used on sensitive body areas. Choose body-safe materials such as medical-grade silicone, tempered glass, or high-quality stainless steel. I explained that cheap materials, like PVC, often contain phthalates, a chemical the FDA has expressed concern about due to potential health risks. Mrs. Tina looked shocked. She said, "I bought the cheap one, doctor. I didn't know what it was made of." I continued to the second factor, hygiene. This is crucial for preventing infection. A toy must be washed before and after use with gentle soap and warm water. Some materials can be boiled for sterilization, but only if allowed by the manufacturer. Lastly, I explained the third factor, usage. Water-based lubricant is highly recommended for women aged 50 plus, as natural lubrication often decreases. Oil-based lubricants should be avoided because they can disrupt healthy vaginal bacteria and damage latex condoms. I reminded her, the most important thing is to listen to your body. If it hurts or feels uncomfortable, stop. The goal is comfort, not pain.
Mrs. Tina listened closely to everything I explained. After discussing hygiene and usage, she nodded slowly, as if she was finally beginning to understand how important these aspects were. Then, with a calmer tone, she asked, "Doctor, earlier you mentioned that sex toys can actually have benefits. What do you mean? All this time I felt guilty, as if I was doing something taboo." I smiled gently. "That's exactly what I want to clarify, ma'am. Many studies have shown that when used properly and safely, sex toys can provide several health benefits for women, including women in their later years." I explained each point clearly so that Mrs. Tina and the audience could understand. First, they can enhance sexual desire and satisfaction. For many women, especially those who are postmenopausal, hormonal changes can reduce sensitivity, natural lubrication, and the ability to reach orgasm. Sex toys can help stimulate areas that are difficult to reach manually, increasing sensation and pleasure. Second, they can strengthen pelvic floor muscles. Some tools like Kegel balls or specialized vibrators help train the pelvic floor. Strong pelvic muscles reduce urinary incontinence, improve blood circulation in the intimate area, and enhance sexual response. Third, they help women understand their own bodies better. Many women, even after decades of marriage, still don't fully understand their sensitive areas. Sex toys can be a form of personal education, helping someone learn what rhythm, pressure, and type of touch feel most comfortable and safe. I added that international organizations such as Planned Parenthood and ASHA acknowledge that sex toys can be a healthy part of someone's sexual life. "So, ma'am, what you're doing isn't wrong or shameful," I said. "It's actually a form of self-respect, understanding your body, acknowledging your needs, and maintaining sexual health." Mrs. Tina's expression looked brighter and more relaxed, as though a long-held burden was finally lifting. But then, she asked one more important question. "But doctor, what if someone goes too far? I mean, if they use it too often, can it be harmful?" I nodded. "That's a very good question, and a very important one. Anything excessive can be harmful, including the use of sex toys. There are several risks associated with overuse. I explain them one by one. First, psychological dependence. Some people may feel that the only way they can experience pleasure is through sex toys. This can make them neglect other forms of intimacy or make normal stimulation harder to enjoy. Second, reduced sensitivity. If the stimulation is too intense or too frequent, nerves in the genital area can become less responsive, making normal touch feel less satisfying. Third, irritation or injury. Overuse, excessive pressure, or lack of lubrication can lead to irritation, abrasions, or even injury to vaginal tissues. I emphasize that the most important thing is balance. Sex toys are tools, not a necessity. They can be helpful companions, but they shouldn't dominate your life. Your health, comfort, and self-control must always come first. Mrs. Tina nodded repeatedly. "I understand much better now, doctor. I was afraid because I had no one to ask." I smiled warmly. "And I'm glad you asked. By asking, you have already taken steps to care for yourself." I then offered ways to balance sexual desire in a healthy manner. First, regular exercise. Exercise releases endorphins, happy hormones, that help stabilize mood and channel sexual energy in healthy ways. Your senior workout routine is great. You can add morning walks or swimming, I suggested. Second, social activities. Loneliness often amplifies unchanneled desire. Spending more time with friends, joining communities, or attending social or religious activities can ease those feelings. Third, engaging in meaningful hobbies. Gardening, knitting, cooking, painting, reading, any of these can help redirect energy in positive ways. I concluded that, in short, ma'am, a sex toy is not the only way to channel desire. It is simply one option, and a healthy one when used wisely. Mrs. Tina smiled with relief. It feels like I've received enlightenment, doctor. After discussing the benefits and risks of sex toy usage, the atmosphere became calmer and more filled with understanding. Mrs. Tina looked much more relieved, though a trace of embarrassment still appeared on her face from time to time. But this time, the embarrassment no longer carried fear, just a reflex from decades of cultural teaching that frames senior sexuality as something taboo. I continued explaining in a soft yet clear tone, ensuring that all viewers could understand the key message. Ma'am, sexual health is an important part of overall health. Just like we care for the heart, bones, and blood pressure, this area also needs attention. The difference is that people often consider it embarrassing, even though it's completely normal. Mrs. Tina nodded slowly. You're right, doctor. No one ever taught us these things. Whenever women talk about sexuality, people always assume something negative. I agree, I replied. But now there is more research and education showing that sexuality doesn't belong only to the young. Seniors also have the right to feel comfort, satisfaction, and health in this aspect. I then expanded the discussion beyond sex toys alone. Research about sexuality in women aged 50 plus. I explained that many women above age 50 experience physiological changes due to menopause, such as vaginal dryness, reduced estrogen, and decreased sensitivity. These changes can make traditional sexual intercourse uncomfortable or even painful. This is where sex toys can be beneficial. They are not always used for achieving climax. They can also help maintain tissue flexibility, stimulate blood flow, and support pelvic muscle health. I added, using a sex toy does not mean someone is immoral. It's actually a form of self-care. Mrs. Tina smiled faintly, clearly beginning to accept this new perspective. Additional safety tips. I reinforced several safety points that are especially important for senior women. Use water-based lubricants regularly, not only when dryness occurs. Lubricants help prevent irritation and increase comfort. Avoid toys that are too large or have rough textures, especially for beginners. Simpler designs are safer. Check the condition of the toy regularly. If you notice scratches, cracks, or changes in texture, stop using it. Never use non-sexual household items as substitutes. Their materials and shapes can be dangerous. Use condoms if the toy is made from porous materials. Cheap materials often contain micropores that can trap bacteria. I emphasized safety must always come first. Never sacrifice health out of curiosity. Mrs. Tina nodded with enthusiasm. Emotional and psychological aspects. After discussing physical health, I addressed emotional well-being. I explained that many women secretly feel guilty after using a sex toy. Some fear sin, some fear judgment, and others feel it's inappropriate for their age. But as long as it's private and safe, there's nothing wrong with it. Mrs. Tina sighed deeply. Yes, doctor, that's exactly how I felt, like a burden I couldn't explain. I explained that many senior women feel lonely after losing a partner or after their children grow up and start their own lives. In that quietness, the body still communicates its needs. These needs are not just biological, they're emotional as well. The desire to feel loved, valued, and alive as a woman. So it's completely normal that your body still responds to stimulation. Desire doesn't simply disappear with age. I reminded her that sexual health must be seen as part of overall well-being. Aside from exercise and social activity, other things also help balance emotional and sexual energy. Light meditation before sleep, breathing exercises, adequate rest, nutritious food, avoiding excessive stress. All of these help regulate your emotions and energy, including sexual desire, so everything stays balanced. After hearing all of this, Mrs. Tina smiled widely. "It feels like a window has opened, doctor. There are so many things I never understood before." I replied, "That's exactly why education is important. Knowledge reduces fear and shame." She continued, "I don't feel alone anymore. It turns out what I feel is normal." I agree. There is nothing strange about it. What matters is that you stay healthy, safe, and balanced in your life. After a long discussion about sexual health, benefits, risks, and emotional aspects, I felt it was important to close our conversation by reinforcing how a senior woman, like Mrs. Tina, can live with confidence, control, and love for herself. Mrs. Tina took a deep breath. Her face looked calmer and far more confident compared to when she first arrived. "Doctor," she said softly, "I really didn't know any of this. I thought what I felt was strange, but it turns out it's normal." I smiled warmly. "Exactly, ma'am. There is nothing strange. Every woman has a right to understand her body, acknowledge her needs, and live comfortably." I explained that one of the main reasons many senior women feel confused is because sexual education in their younger years was extremely limited, especially for women. Discussion about the body was considered shameful, only appropriate within marriage. But, I continued, sexuality is not just about being with a partner. It includes intimacy, comfort, personal pleasure, and physical as well as emotional health. Mrs. Tina nodded slowly, her eyes glistening. Not from sadness, but from relief. Relief after carrying unanswered questions for years. "If only I had known this earlier," she whispered, "I wouldn't have felt so afraid or guilty." I gently tapped the table. "It's all right, ma'am. What matters is that now you know. It's never too late to learn about your own body." I explained that many women over age 50 are actually entering their emotional prime. They've gone through life's hardships, raised children, possibly lost a partner, worked hard, and carried various responsibilities. This age is often the age of true maturity, and feeling desire is not a weakness. It's a sign that your body is alive, responsive, and healthy. I emphasize the importance of self-love, especially after experiencing loss or loneliness. Many women spend decades focusing on their roles as mothers, wives, caregivers, until they forget how to care for their own needs. "Now is a time for you to embrace yourself," I said gently, "to take care of your body, your mind, and your emotions." I summarized the key points. Choose reputable brands made of safe materials such as medical-grade silicone, high-quality stainless steel, or tempered glass. Maintain proper hygiene, washing before and after use, and storing the toy in a clean, dry place. Use water-based lubricant, especially for postmenopausal women. Know your limits. Stop immediately if anything feels painful. Keep usage frequency reasonable, not to the point of interfering with daily life. Balance the body with healthy routines such as exercise, social interaction, and hobbies. Remember, a sex toy is a tool, not a necessity. Mrs. Tina nodded with a gentle smile. "I understand much more now, doctor. I won't use things carelessly anymore, and I won't feel guilty. As long as it's for health, I'll use it wisely." "Exactly, ma'am," I replied. I then addressed the audience directly. To all our senior friends watching, remember that sexual health is part of your overall health. There is no shame in asking questions. There is no guilt in having needs or desires. I reminded viewers to always seek direct consultation with a medical professional for personal issues that require deeper assessment. This information is for education, not a substitute for professional examination. Everyone has different health conditions, so make sure you get the proper guidance. At the end of the conversation, Mrs. Tina clasped her hands together and said with sincerity, "Thank you so much, doctor. I feel like I finally have a place to talk. I don't feel alone anymore." I replied, "Thank you, ma'am. Your courage to ask and share today will help many other women who feel the same way." We ended the session with warm smiles. See you in the next episode. Stay healthy, stay spirited, and love your body just as it is.